together, everybody, for the former best homeless comedian in Huntsville, Mr. Joel Elliott.
Do I have a microphone? Just setting things up quick for the opening act. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just direct your attention to the front door. By the way, hi Maggie Myers. Can I direct your attention to the front door? This is a man who has worked a lot in our scene. He's kind of a Weird Al-ish kind of guy. He does parody songs. Ladies and gentlemen, The Siege! Okay. The Siege isn't out there. I booked him for to be an opening act for this show tonight, but to be fair, I forgot I was on this show. And I didn't reconfirm with The Siege that he'd be here to be my opening act, so now I'm not quite sure what I should do. I mean, just like I brought enough material, you know, like for The Siege to do The Siege was going to sing a cover song from Ween. Are you guys familiar with Ween? Anybody familiar with Ween? Can I get a round of applause for Ween? Gene Ween is just in Birmingham playing. Amazing artist. Yeah, he was going to do a cover song from Ween, and then I was going to do some jokes, and it was going to be like this really professional, well-developed show, and now I'm not sure what I should do. Okay, I've been to a lot of open mics. Sometimes the comics read funny things off their phone. Maybe that. I'm sure I got something funny in here. Oh, no, seriously, guys. No, this one. You're going to love this. Wait. Okay, let me just scroll to it. Okay, I just got to finish this text, and then... Okay, no, you know, I feel bad. I feel like you guys were waiting for, like, a musical act, and with The Siege not here, and I'm not a musician, but I'm going to just try to do it. I'm going to do the song that The Siege was going to do. Okay. Go ahead. Just keep in mind, you know, I'm a stand-up comedian and just a generally sad, disgraced individual in the Deep South, so, like, you know, we'll see how well this goes. My tenant sentence speaks, flying into the winds now. I'm flowing at my feet, something in likeness to you now. I spotted you in the sun, I called your name from a distance, I knew you as the one. I called again, I too declare I can float in the air, and with some love from above, you must. Don't caress the weasel, and don't fall too soon. I'll seep the blood from the panther, I'll take a trip to you soon. I'm the one holding the time back from the sun as I scope the road. I am the one who controls the sun, and I know that things will pass as time lapses. Time elapses through the sound of you. And the things we can do, just think of the master trying to fool the blast man. Check the cards at the table, scream softly, you are able to see the signs of thine self pass throughout the ages of time. Things you thought was going to climb the mountain, see the sun, touch the waves of the earth, feel the grass softly, and don't think that you're the one you know. I am dreaming backwards in the sand. Hey, dude, he's the stallion. Yo, dude, he's the stallion. Dude, he's the stallion. So, like I said, the Siege does it so much better. Like, I hired the guy, and I borrowed this guitar so that he had something to play when he got here, because he pawned all of his, apparently. I don't know, he's a good guy, the Siege. I appreciate his dedication, you know, like, the fact that the Siege comes up at our open mics, which are sometimes kind of hostile, okay? The fact that the Siege comes up at our open mics, and he sings parody songs, like, and sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not great, just like any material at an open mic, but he goes up there and he does it, even though, like, 1.5 people in the crowd are, like, in it, you know? Like, all the rest of the people are like, who's this guy, you know? But he comes out and he does it. The dedication, that's what I appreciate about the Siege. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your host again, Matthew Tate, for putting this whole thing together, bringing some comics from Nashville out to perform for you tonight for free. You can tip them, you know. They won't be offended if you slip them a 5. Yeah, right? Comedy, it's fun. You're gonna be homeless. Like he said, I was the former #1, you know, homeless comedian in Huntsville, Alabama. You're gonna be homeless. If you dedicate yourself to a career in entertainment, you're going to be homeless. Whether it is success or failure, it's gonna be the road or the street. You're gonna hit something. Like because that's show business. That's just how that works. You're also gonna give a lot of blowjobs, but we're not gonna get into that. Yeah, I don't care your orientation. Roll Tide, get with it. It's 2016. If you want to get booked. So Matthew, I did some material recently about how I had gotten a ride from somebody in like this dark bit. That, you know, like I had gotten a ride from a particular person. It was Julie, okay? It was Julie. And when you booked me for this show, I was like, oh dude, I gotta tell him from the stage. I was walking somewhere the other day and this car slowed down and the window rolled down. I was like, dude, I think I know this guy. Like this guy knows somebody, Matthew. It was fucking Todd! Todd, he pulled over to pick me up and give me a... No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't even know what Todd looks like. I'm kidding. I rarely tell lies from the stage. That's the one lie, and it was for your benefit, Matthew, because wouldn't it be funny? I saw you there sweating bullets. Like, who picked Joel up that I have had in my life that I'm bitter about? There was such a selection, and I walk a lot. That's all. So my name is Joel Elliott. You can follow my awkward handle on Twitter by following @awkwardhandle on Twitter. There's a lot going on. Missy Elliott follows me now. I was so excited. I mean, it's not like she was researching comedians and decided that Joel Elliott is going to be, you know, it's like, oh, maybe we're related. No, clearly Missy Elliott and I are not related. But no, I actually relate a lot of my success as an entertainer to Missy Elliott for this reason. Like, I grew up in Baltimore, and she's my flavor of artist, you know, like I like what she does, you know, when I was a DJ on the radio, I was doing Top 40, and her single Work It came out. Work It was such a great song that I just was way into it, and I formed, worked up this impression of it. I started doing Work It in karaoke clubs, and when you see a skinny white boy do Work It, you know, the people are like, oh, that's funny, and people were, you know, enjoyed it, and it was really what launched my whole Scary Jerry West kind of thing. You know, and so now I'm starting to think I should just do Where They From on the stage, and then all of a sudden everybody's going to book me on shows in Huntsville. I'm only saying this to prepare you for the fact that I'm probably going to do Missy Elliott, Where Are They From? I'm going to work it into a comedy bit somehow in the next few weeks, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's going to be weird. Work It. Oh man, the Work It thing. Okay, the Work It thing, I say that, it actually launched my name as Scary Jerry West in Pennsylvania. There are bars that I could go to. I didn't pick it. The program director gave me the name. I can see. I know. It's what Scary Jerry West. Right. I know. But you know, the name became a thing. There are bars in Pennsylvania. If I go there now, middle-aged women will come up to me and go, "Hey, you're always going to be Scary Jerry West to me. And that happened to me 7 years after I was on the radio. Like a woman came up and was like, you're always going to be. The name got solidified because of Missy Elliott, because of doing that performance in karaoke clubs. People started talking about me, you know. So I really want to do the Where Are They From thing. It got so bad. It got so like notorious, this act that I was doing in karaoke clubs, that they made me do it in front of a high school. Like some high school was like, yeah, you should do that thing in front of our homecoming dance or whatever. And I sang Work It to high schoolers, and I'm not on a list. I guess this is before the internet was popular. I don't know. I am old, but not that old. I don't know. So yeah, no, I've got the, I don't know. I have a lot of fun on Twitter. You should follow me on Twitter, awkward handle. I'm doing a lot of projects. I've got this short story out right now that it's called Stuck in Huntsville. It's a fictional account of a person whose wife moved with them down to Huntsville and then cut him loose, and he ended up homeless and started telling jokes on stages. It's loosely based on things. It's a story about toxic relationships, and it's being released serially on Facebook right now. Like if you go onto Facebook and go Stuck in Huntsville, it's a short story, and it's coming out in chapters. You'll get the notifications if you hit like on the page, you know, that thing. And by Saturday, the whole story will be out there. So if you just go onto Facebook, Stuck in Huntsville, you can read the story. It's just it's to talk about the other hashtag, basically. You know, like when it comes to abusive relationships, like that Rice thing happened, okay? That Rice thing happened, and domestic violence was like big in the media. You know, awareness was big. And hashtag Why I Left hit Twitter of people saying why I left an abusive relationship. And hashtag Why I Stayed then was the counterpart to that of people telling the stories of why they stayed in abusive relationships. That's the story that doesn't get told a lot. The Why I Stayed. And that's what this story is about. It's about one fictional person's story of why they stayed in an abusive relationship and where that ended up. And so here we are, Maggie. So we're having so much fun. The stand-up comic thing, it's gotten crazy. I did so many shows last year that like I'm putting on my own shows together. Like in March, you guys, who smokes weed here? Okay. Talk to me after the show. You're such a liar, Sharon. You have never smoked weed. No, you smoked weed once and then you got very anxious and you giggled for 5 minutes. But yeah, no, the guy from the Harold and Kumar. He's Harold, I think. He's Sulu. He's Sulu in the J.J. Abrams like Star Trek things. He's coming in March. He does comedy. He's hilarious. And you guys are gonna love that. I get to open for him, provided I don't just let the whole show fall apart. Okay, so the Siege was going to close with a song, and I'll just try to do that because Siege told me a thing about Alabama that if you try to do a Hank Sr. impression and you do it well enough that you will get laid after the show. I went down to the river, watched the fish swim by. I got down to the river, I had to hang my head and cry, oh Lord. 'Cause I jumped in the river, but the doggone river was dry. And she's alone, long gone now. I'm lonesome blue. Now, since I had this short story out about toxic relationships, and it's loosely based on a person who lived on the street for a little bit and did comedy shows, I kind of feel a need to preface this whole song that, I love my ex-wife. Of course, I didn't stop loving her. We're not going to be speaking. Madison County prefers that we don't. But I wish her happiness. I want her to be well, I love her. I don't long for her. I went down to the river, the water was cold as ice. When I go down to the river, Lord, I'm gonna pay the price, oh Lord. So I'm going down in it 3 times, Lord, I'm only coming up twice. And she's a lone girl, and I'm lonesome blue. She's a lone girl, now I'm lonesome blue. Maggie Myers, you've been great. I, on the other hand, have been Joel Elliott.